Well, good morning. It's December 18th. I thought that was nice to hear. That's the little jingle for the Neutral Zone. MauiNeutralZone.com here on KAKU 88.5 FM in Maui, Hawaii. We are also simulcast on Akaku Maui Community TV, Channel 55. You can find this and all the rest of our shows at MauiNeutralZone.com. We have a directory there. It goes backward in time, but we also have a directory search where you can look at shows for the last 30 years that we've been doing. And you'll also see others being added in that are producers that have bodies of work of Maui, because we're also Maui Arts and Music Association, MAMA. Good morning, aloha.
Good morning.
I have a guest who is now going to sit in that spot, and she'll realize that that's the camera for me, that's the camera for you. And as you sit, we're live on the air on KAKU and Akaku Maui Community TV simulcast. I just see this woman come in. I said, who is this woman? And I have to put on my glasses to realize I know who you are. I don't have, I was going to say, I don't have anyone walking in here, especially someone as wonderful and beautiful as you. I saw you here at Akaku, had a special program, a community day, and I got a chance to sing. That was fun. But you were a table there. I'm Jason Schwartz. I'm your host. Scott Bushnell is out in the field, and we're going to see him next year co-hosting with me on things. But I'm back to speaking to people, and this is the first people, someone I met that I thought was really an important part of this community. Isn't it funny? She just put on her doctor jacket, and I thought to myself, am I that stuck on the fact that when I see a doctor jacket, I think doctor? I saw this beautiful woman walk in, but she wasn't wearing her jacket, and I would never have thought that was my guest doctor. But I'm saying that because of the Bridget Bongaard, Dr. Bridget Bongaard. When I got a call from you, I saw that you were local by way of North Carolina.
Right.
And so I thought, oh. So she is the medical director. MauiCancerResources.org. We'll be talking about that. You're going to see it on the screen with contact with her. I was going by, I really had just come by to see what was going on, and they kind of wrote me in and said, Jason, you want to sing? I said, oh, sure. So
I didn't ask you to sing.
And there I was.
But he was very good.
Oh, thank you.
I want you to know he's got some talent, this young man.
We have a program director. She asked me that the next community day they were having here, they're going to do a contest, and she asked if I wanted to sing, and I said sure. So that'll be happening again. I don't know if you'll be there, but maybe so. There was a table there, and I went over and started talking because the name Maui Cancer Resources, I had recently done a test because I have a pacemaker coming Wednesday. I got 13 to 15 more years on battery. Let's say do with the rest of this gear, but I should have excellent assistant to make my heart pump the way it is and have its electrical. I have what they call a bad electrical problem, not plumbing. So it's like a bad marriage. The top was not telling the bottom, hey, your turn. Come on, go. Hey. And so now I have one that's there almost 100% of the time. And they've checked me. Kaiser has been a blanket for me that's been great, because all their information is in one place, and I've been with them since I got here on Maui. So, and when they do, I guess everyone gets a chance because of some algorithm to say, oh, look at that arose. That means you should see this doctor. It's really a blessing. So many people don't have that kind of a blessing. There are people that have, among others, HMSA and Ohana Care, Medicare, but to find a place that coordinates under one roof for me in this way. So they had this test among the blood tests that was so out of line, and I thought, well, I don't have cancer. I saw the guy at Kaiser, and he said, but a second opinion, especially from a resource organization, would be a valuable thing. So that's how I ended up going over to the table. And Dr. Bongaard was generous in pointing out about a major place in New York, Sloan Kettering. And I sent off to their research department my request to ask them, how could this reading be so off when all the indicators otherwise are perfect? And so I'm waiting to see that. But I thought, our whole community should know that there's a resource center here. And I don't know the difference between a resource center and going to the doctor, but I imagine as soon as I stop talking, you'll get a chance to know what it's about and say hi. Hello, I'm a little bit wound up. This is our Christmas New Year's show because Monday, not the song from the Mamas and the Papas, but the next one is Christmas, the next one is New Year's, so this is our last show of 2023. So very important, and I thought I'd bring on someone who's really a resource and could bring in our new year with positive spirit. And I met this gal, I thought, this doctor, and I am respectful. I hope I'm not being disrespectful, but I meet people where they are when I meet them, and this is a very approachable and really terrific lady. Thank you for joining me here.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, Jason. Well, I wanted to sort of talk about the resource piece, but even back in the bus up, so to speak, when I first came to Island in 2014, cancer supportive care resources were in multiple different locations, and we really didn't have medical navigation. So if you were to go to a center anywhere in mainland or even at Queens and some of the other larger hospitals, you would have a nurse navigator or a medical navigator that would be able to answer medical questions. And we are blessed to have Pacific Cancer Foundation here, who has done a stellar job in community service and community navigation. But the piece for medical navigation and medical support for cancer care wasn't developed. So initially when we came, someone gave me a $40,000 grant to start Maui Cancer Wellness Retreats, where we would bring people together for 3 days, take them out of their environment, put them up for 3 days, food, lodging, and educational programs. And we would teach them nutrition, we'd teach them lifestyle medicine to improve outcomes, because you get a 40 to 50% reduction in risk of cancer, also in risk of metastatic disease, if you have a healthy, clean lifestyle.
So your retreat is for people that are anywhere on the spectrum of cancer, none, and have it
well,
severe.
back then in 2017, this was the first go at medical navigation and providing these services, and so
the people that had
they currently were cancer survivors. Anybody who has the diagnosis of cancer all the way through treatment is called a survivor. Okay? Because we want people to be positive. And there is so much more hope now than ever before because of the science in treatment. All the different immunotherapies and the development of vaccine therapies and the advanced surgeries, the robotic surgery. I mean, it's just fantastic what we have now versus what we had in the 1960s, 70s, even 80s. So it's really become a huge advancement. So back to Maui Cancer Wellness Retreats, we started as just to see how this would go, and it was so impactful. It was just life-changing for people when they finally were able to focus on themselves, really drink from the well of knowledge and a way of education. What do I need for my body to beat the odds? What do I need?
So their attitude improved and gave them do you look at that as part of it, that their improved attitude is that
Oh, yeah. Well, I
catalyst?
mean, not only that, so, it's mind, body, spirit type
Yeah.
thing as well. I mean, you have to take care of your physical body, but
That's fantastic.
we do know that the risk of cancer increases with chronic stress levels, high stress levels. So what we did was we actually showed them the science, showed people the science behind that, and then gave them modalities to really reduce stress. Look at fear-based thinking. How do I change my belief systems, not my values, but my belief systems and my patterns that were negative? And so,
I had the opportunity to go to your website, so I feel a little bit energized because I saw, you're hearing someone talk about it here on radio and TV, but this is doctor. That's why I laugh when I saw you walk in and say, oh, I wouldn't have thought. This woman is, if I read her credential to you, it's almost like a who's who in medical science. And I think it's important to realize that what you're saying has a lot of weight of experience.
Yeah, so thank you. I was the chief of integrative medicine. I'm board certified in internal medicine and practiced that for 30-odd years, and then became really fascinated with how people become ill and how people become well. And so I took the fellowship in integrative medicine with Dr. Andrew Weil back in 2003 to 2005, completed the fellowship, and our hospital CEO, Phyllis Wingate Jones, was an exemplary leader. And so she created 8 service lines for our hospital and asked me to be the chief for the last service line, which was integrative medicine. So we did, I had a clinic that had acupuncturist and a massage therapist in it. I also trained holistic nurses, integrative chaplains. That program, all of these programs are still going there in North Carolina. And I also did a consult service for non-narcotic pain control, people who were stuck in the hospital because of anxiety or depression. I would go in there and use the integrated modalities to help them move forward. And it was so successful that we actually we trained a nurse to become an integrative nurse specialist for the whole hospital.
So in other words, a specialty that then...
It's a subspecialty.
Is it something that goes out? Have you been able to share that with other places to have integrated specialists at different hospitals?
So integrative medicine is in 27 major medical centers in the country. Okay. And probably more than that. The last time I looked, it was a couple years ago. I'm sure it's more than that. But there are now programs to train family practice and internal medicine in integrative medicine in some of the major medical centers tied back to Dr. Weil's original program. So it's
you got here to Maui. What a blessing for Maui.
Oh, thank you.
I imagine you have a very vital team. You mentioned Pacific.
So Pacific Cancer Foundation is its own entity. It's a nonprofit here that served the island beautifully for 20 years. We've been here since 2017, and the exciting news is that we also have a new nonprofit called U versus C, U versus Cancer. And so I've been working with the state for the Hawaii Cancer Consortium Committee to look at the quality of life and survivorship across the Hawaiian Islands. What is it that we can do? What programs can we develop? And so we had a strategic planning meeting at the state in Honolulu on September the 15th, and I invited Pacific Cancer Foundation to come. I invited U versus C to come. The American Cancer Society was there. And we had what would you call her? She's fabulous. Keihao Matsumoto. She's sort of a representative for all the survivors, because she's had cancer 5 times. And she's a social worker. She's fabulous. And so she sat on our committee, and we looked at what the needs were here in Maui County, and we realized that, well, we have great things here, great things, but we need to pull it all together so there's a resource. So we came up with the term Maui Nui Cancer Hui, and so we're working to actually create a cancer resource center so that anybody who comes can get an evaluation and say, oh, well, you need help here? Okay, this is where you go to get this resource. We've got it right here. And so I'm hoping to pull together, or all of us are hoping to pull this together, and I've just contacted the hospital as well and should be having a meeting with them soon about this project. So it's pretty exciting. And
as I'm hearing you, you've just met me on the street, so to speak, here at Akaku. But it's exciting to hear that in your specialty, cancer and the support needed for it, I think of it how I have viewed solutions to Maui since I got here in '88. I have an organization called MAMA, Maui Arts and Music Association, and another name, PAPA, People Aligned in Positive Action. Together are dream makers. So one of the components is having a central place like Maui Arts and Music, by example, where people can go to and then spread out from there. Sort of, I want to say, a brain. That's what you're talking about. I watched the FEMA people come. I'm just giving you my quick hit. They have a federal program. They have a house thing at the airport for homeless. And when you ask the people there, this person didn't qualify for you because they weren't in the burn zone, but they were, do you have this connection? No, that's not part of our agenda. All agendas need to coagulate on any issues and start cooperating.
It is a hub and a hui. It's a gathering. It would be a gathering place for cancer resources.
And everyone keeps their own identity, but yet they cooperate in such a way to make it greater than if they were splintered, and people can literally
that is
come
correct.
to the whole.
And it is sharing resources, and it's conserving resources as well. So there's not really duplication, and there are strong programs in each one of these nonprofits that are really wonderful and synergistic. So, for instance, if someone comes to me for medical navigation, but I see they have a need for transportation or help with other things, then I send them straight to Stacy Moniz at Pacific Cancer Foundation. And she has a fabulous assistant, Andrea Bakos. Amazing community navigator. I can't say enough good about what they do. And if there's a financial concern and such like that, then I'll call up Candace Johns at U versus C, and we'll see what we can do. If I have a particular, like someone needs to go to Hope Lodge, we can make that recommendation through the American Cancer Society, and I can pick up the phone and call Hope Lodge and say, hey, I've got a patient who needs to go to Oahu for this specific therapy. Do you have a place at Hope Lodge? So what we're doing is we're really coordinating and bringing together the resources.
That's so terrific.
And so I think this would be a part of the oncology service line that the hospital would be developing when they're getting their brand new CEO in, or president in, Lynn Fulton, in January the 1st. So I'm very excited to be able to meet and work with that team there to make this a seamless program for our community.
You know, I'm looking out into the camera now, and I see all of you beautiful people. First of all, you can see why I have a very eloquent and qualified guest here. We all support on your blessings and love. So 'tis the season. If wherever you want to give, I hope that giving spirit and helping each other really kind of surfaces. We have it on Maui for fire victims, but I personally know that people that were outside the burn zone like we're renting, that now have rents that are going through the sky because the government is willing to pay the next 12 months of rent and vacation rental people to be able to house people burned, and the inequity going on in this. We all have to help each other, and I hope that thought of whether you have money or not, that if you see a need and you feel you can fill it, please do. And if you see a beautiful resource, the value of having people that can help and share their ability to help. You know, that funny thing between, this may or may not even be important, but people are afraid to share their information between people and agencies, and there's all this thing about being private with our information. But an information hub or a source hub, like we're talking, like I talk about Kaiser, I've been an umbrella. Anyone looking for cancer to be able to come to MauiCancerResources.org, have a conscious ear, listen, and help you and place you with organizations, and not necessarily place you, maybe, but be able to network it together gives us the power, especially here on Maui, to be equal to everywhere in the world, to be able to have the resources that are
well, and that's exactly what we're trying to do, is to so that you don't have to fly off island. You can get cancer resources, you can get understanding, you can get health education, you can get advocacy to. So, for instance, in 2 years ago, when I first joined the Quality of Life Action Team, and I realized there wasn't really a survivorship manual to help people as sort of like a portable medical resource for themselves, a portable medical record, but having all kinds of health and wellness and nutrition, specifically what you could do to keep yourself healthy and strong going through all this treatment. So at one of our day treats, so we started out as a 3-day retreat for 17, 18, and 19, and then COVID's here, and we changed them to 1-day retreats 4 times a year to be able to get more impact and support more people. And out of one of these, what we call day treats or day-long workshops that we had, I canvassed the cancer patients and said, tell me, where are the pukas in cancer supportive care? And from that, I developed a qualitative research piece that actually looked in detail at where the needs were. In other words, a needs assessment.
Yeah.
And from that, with 6 or 7 cancer patients and some of our staff, we developed a cancer journey guide.
That's great.
I'm pretty excited, and it was just a start, okay? And so we sort of beta tested it here on Maui. Then I showed it to the state, and now I'm taking it to Straub Hospital. Dr. Francisco Conde is the head of their survivorship program, and Dr. Conde is weighing in on it. I'll take it to Christy Fujinaga, who is the nurse navigator at Queens. I've taken it to one of our local oncologists. And so we're getting sort of a 3, and then, of course, our beloved Kehau, who was a social worker and also 5-time breast cancer survivor. So
wow.
We're really getting a 360 look at making this a very easy-to-use cancer journey guide for going all the way through diagnosis, treatment, and then beyond, as well as resources for end-of-life discussions, a Pulsed, which is a portable living will document, so to speak, that you can have, taking it to the hospital or putting on your refrigerator. If you're ill, at least everybody knows what you want, and those are your wishes, and the family doesn't have to just second guess. And so a lot of that just really kind of clears the air, and also allows you to have your personal dignity and your personal wishes. So we even included that in the Cancer Journey Guide, along with medication sheets and calendars where you can put your treatments on it and know what's coming up and know when you started, know when you finished. So it makes it a very succinct document, but it's portable.
Does it exist now?
Yeah. And so we're redoing it now. We're on the second evolution of it with all these people I'm telling you about, and also our quality of life action team in Honolulu.
How are you funded?
Donations, people who want to pay it forward, people who want to see this come into being.
Private donations.
We also, fortunately, were given a $20,000 grant by the Atherton Foundation.
Nice.
For medical navigation. So I do one-on-one consults. So, for instance, if someone becomes diagnosed and they're anxious, they don't understand what's going on, the doctor's told them this, and this, and they just have a lot more questions around that. What does this really mean? What is this going to mean to me short term and long term? It's affecting my relationships. I need help. Come. I'll do a one-on-one, or I do one-on-ones for non-narcotic pain control. Say a breast cancer patient has had an operation. Now they have lymphedema and they have decreased range of motion. And we have wonderful physical therapists on this island, but not everybody can get to one, okay? And I was trained at the Tucson Osteopathic Foundation to do strain counter strain, which shortens the muscles and relieves pain and discomfort in breast cancer patients, head and neck patients, any patients that have gone to surgery where muscles are tight and in spasm. I can help relieve those and also decrease pain. Prostate cases, the whole 9 yards. So it's really, I love doing that. And that's just one of the one-on-one services and consults that we do offer.
Well, when I hear all that, the first thing that hit me was, what about people that don't have money? Well, it's a non-profit. Maybe they have a way.
Our services are free.
So that means anybody that has issue, whether they belong to any
insurance
companies,
Mm-hmm.
have this resource available to them.
That's right.
It's like, you want a second opinion? You want an opinion.
Yeah.
And the word cancer, I mean, we're jumping right into clearly, Dr. Bongaard is working with people that clearly have already been diagnosed and they know they have cancer. But the word cancer scares so many people. Mm-hmm. I think part of what we're talking about, we may have time, but we may to talk about the fact that there are many things that are prevention of cancer conditions that can help our world. What number is cancer in people dying? Probably high on the list, right?
It is. Mm-hmm. So, heart disease is first, cancer second.
So we all know that, that old thing about garbage in, garbage out. Those are the different kinds of shows. But it's nice to see that in speaking to someone who centralizes this information, someone that is thinking about it all. So whoever you are out there, whatever your persuasion, this is a really important resource for us all to recognize. We'll take a quick station break, but I don't think we break stations here. We're on KAKU 99.5. No, 99.5. You can't find the half on a radio. FM in Maui, Hawaii. Simulcast on Akaku, Maui Community Television, Media, Cable, 55 channel. That's what happens when time goes on. I just know we're up there and for the world to see. I've had some unusual guests. I had one guest that was in Pakistan, 9/11. He was a pilot. And after he spoke out about the pilots and that they couldn't this and they weren't qualified and they couldn't have, and it would, in other words, I guess you call him, he wasn't a conspiracy theorist. He was a pilot who, by understanding what was going on, had opinions that were outside. I've had all kinds of people that find us here. I mean, I think it's, to me, interesting that we're a little show in Maui, Hawaii, but the good that we do and the good that you're doing, we are a beacon to the world. When we do something like you're doing, we're I want to say a pilot project. There are probably millions of hundreds, bunches of people doing these kinds of things. But what we do here has the excellence of someone that's coming all the way across here, living in Maui now, and we in Maui have that benefit. So you here who are listening locally, that's really where I'm focusing. But the whole world is listening and looking. So please take advantage of these resources from Dr. Bongaard at MauiCancerResources.org. Is there a way people should be contacting you guys? What's the best way?
Yes. They can go on our website, which is MauiCancerResources.org, and you can actually book a consultation there. We also have workshops quarterly, and anyone can sign up for that. We give lunch during that and have coffee, tea, and little snacks and such like that. But those are experiential. It's not just a talking head. It's we present a concept and then we all get down into the concept, and we could even sometimes we'll do art therapy. Sometimes we'll do cook-offs like Chopped. without the terrible pressure. Believe me, it is so much fun to watch people gather up in teams, open the mystery basket, and cook a healthy lunch, so to speak. It was absolutely adorable and hilarious, and people learned how good fresh, clean food really is. And then they had fun with their table mates and such like that. And we build community, and that's another thing. Part of what we also do is people can really talk about their fears. It's almost like being a veteran. When you're a vet, you don't talk to non-vets, do you? About what went on in Afghanistan.
You try not to share your war
because
experiences,
because people inadvertently they say they understand, but the vet or the cancer survivor feels, but
you don't understand unless you've had it.
Yeah, you're walking in those moccasins, right?
Homeless.
And so there's a lot of trauma, a lot of grief, a lot of loss that can be shared during these workshops as well. And we now have developed a whole series of workshops called Healing Trauma and Loss.
There's your camera, Healing Trauma. Okay.
Yep. And so the American Cancer Society gave us a grant to do this. And this was specifically designed because of the trauma that came from the wildfires. It's already tough enough when you have trauma growing up. And everybody's had trauma, some sort of trauma. There's big trauma, big T, and little t. Everybody's had something. Or I don't think they're telling the truth, you know. And so at any rate, it's how you deal with it and how you get the emotions out. You identify the emotions and really work with those emotions and be able to move beyond and grow beyond that situation, because you're so much more than whatever happened to you. And so we actually help people sort of find their own strengths in this. We don't go over every detail of the trauma. That's not necessary. But what is important is what you felt moving forward from the trauma. So trauma as a kid, trauma as a young adult, trauma as a full-size adult, so to speak, a mature adult. Then you have COVID and all the changes that came there. And now all of this that we're experiencing on Maui has created a lot of complex trauma, loss, and grief. And when I say loss, that can even be expectations.
Center, or where are they going to be?
Pardon?
Where are these going to be held?
So right now these are at Kihei Lutheran Church, and it's once a month. The next one is on... we just had one on December the 13th, and it was fabulous. And then the next one will be January the 17th, and then the last one is February the 14th.
I hope you guys, you can watch this show again, or she'll say it again here. But if you call the number, you'll be able to get it. So it's January.
So it's January the 17th is our next one. It's free. And then we actually talk about what is trauma, how do you get through grief, How do you get through loss? And what are the pillars of resilience? How are people creating that resilience that they can, yes, this horrible stuff happened to them, but yet they can get back to who they truly are as a soul and a strong person, and gather their community together and move on and move forward, grieve together and move forward, and build positive things.
That's at the Kihei Lutheran Church?
It is.
Do you have to have reservations? Or you just
please, yes, if you would just...
Why don't you say the number for those that are on radio? Okay.
They can call 808-866-6155.
808?
866-6155.
Good.
Or they can contact me through the website or Dr. B at MauiCancerResources.org.
There you go.
And we'll put you on the list. And
you're going to see this on screen for you happy people that are seeing this on the web or on TV. But on radio, we're glad we gave you that. This is a terrific thing. I know that when I go to these shows, I can ask questions that go all wherever. But I know that when a guest comes on, especially someone that has a public agenda, there are important things that you want to be sure that you mention, or people and situations that you anything special that you want to be sure to mention that I give you some space for.
I would just like to salute all the Maui Cancer Resources people that have come and actually become community. We do a Zoom every Thursday, Cancer Survivorship Zoom, and this is a problem-solving session. So if someone is stuck and they can't see the way through a problem, the cancer survivors share their experience. Okay.
Is that kind of info up on your site?
Pardon? Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Because that's a really valuable thing.
It's incredible. Wow. Like, for instance, we had one gal who was going to get a port. You know what a port is, right?
Yeah.
And so...
Not the wine. It's like they're putting something in so they can put something into your body.
Yeah, like chemotherapy, okay?
There you go.
Yeah. Or get blood or whatever, or even draw blood through ports. So it really saves the peripheral veins, and this is a central repository that's so easy to use.
I speak sometimes a little bit plain only because we have an audience that may or may not know. That's why.
Yeah. So this is part of explaining things medically, too. We can take it down to any level and help people understand what's going on. Fast forward, here we are in the Zoom meeting. And this gal is like, oh, I don't know, I'm going to get a port. And a couple girls went, oh, you mean like this? And they showed them the port. And it just stripped away a lot of the fear and dread. And then they talked about what it was like going through it and how much nicer it was after receiving the port. It made things a lot easier in the way of their care. But, you know, that's just an example of what we do.
Good things that happen.
And or if somebody's going to surgery, then we might set up a meal train to help them.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, or if they didn't have a ride to the hospital, one of us would volunteer and do that, which I did recently for a gal undergoing a bilateral mastectomy. I took her to the hospital and picked her up and took her home, made sure everything was all done and set, and her meds were right there, and whatever she needed, had food in the refrigerator. So, I mean, those are the important things that people can do to pay it forward and help other people who are walking that path.
I'm excited that I met you here at Akaku because Maui Community Media, this center right here, is to me that. There are people like yourself who thought, we're right here. You're really a very important resource for our community.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You know,
yeah.
And this place is too. You know, sometimes people don't realize because we're public access. That means if you're the public, you can access this media center to use. You have to be trained a little bit, but you have an access to a media center that if you have ideas, you can be here. Today there are students here that are visiting and seeing as you walked in all these people.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. We are a happening part of the community, and I think it's good that you were here today. You might smile on them on the way out.
Oh, I appreciate. I appreciate sharing, and I appreciate being able to show that we are really working hard to make this community better, to bring more resources, to elevate the medical supportive care here. So I so appreciate being able to share this with the community. And if anyone would like to volunteer for Maui Cancer Resources, they're welcome to do that and share. So like, for instance, we have, during our day treats, we have art therapists who might volunteer. Or we have, and that would be Beth Marcel. We have a music therapist, Melinda Carroll, who actually helped us create a song with the cancer survivors. You guys got to go on the website, and this song will just melt your heart.
Is it the one that you have on your website?
On the website, it will melt your heart and just inspire you. We also have Carl Powell and Claudia Miko, who come in and do movement exercise as well as yoga and Tai Chi and Qigong. We'll mix that up as part. And we have Wendy McDonald, who's fabulous. And Wendy does a lot of our mind-body work and teaches people how to go inside and revision and see what the problem is and reframe it and come up with their own positive solution.
These are all at different locations, yes?
No, these are people who volunteer
and come
out of the community to our workshops.
You have a building or no?
Well, we're at St. Teresa's now. We're at St. Anthony's.
Okay, so you have an office if someone wants to.
Oh, the office for Maui Cancer Resources is in my home at the.
The reason I'm bringing this up is look at this network of people that make up the MauiCancerResources.org team.
Yeah.
That are people in our community all over the island that are part of this. That's why I keep talking about my idea, outside of medical, about resources, talking and sharing. Why the feds don't talk to the state, don't talk to the county, don't talk, and yet you even have a person that had cancer numbers of times that's involved in your solutions.
And with our Zoom, Dina Jackson, fabulous individual, cancer survivor, life coach, massage therapist, and so every Thursday she and I are. Whoever shows up for the survivorship meeting, that's another one of our volunteers.
Fantastic.
Her daughter Taylor is also a volunteer. She's a wonderful photographer. We have another person that's working with us, Cassie Polly, who has been a long-time top-level photographer and an artist, an incredible artist.
See how amazing? And some of these people have cancer, some don't. Some are volunteering, and it's our community. That's why I like to take the stigma out of the word cancer for those that don't have it.
It's an illness.
We have a great resource center.
Right.
But imagine the goodwill that can happen through all these different programs and all of us being aware of all of each other. That's what Akaku, Maui Community Television, really in my mind, has been all about. Is about sharing with our community, both broad and close, about some of the wonderful people that we have here and all the good spirit and good things we can do as we cooperate.
I agree. I mean, we've got some other projects. I mean, we hope in the near future to get a cancer fighting kitchen up and start developing that so that when we get the Maui Nui Cancer Hui, that can be a part of it. There's just a lot of good things that are, and it's the people, it's the energy, just like you were mentioning. It's the community, it's that pride, it's our ohana. That's why we serve.
Isn't that a beautiful thing?
Because we're all volunteers.
Right.
At Maui Cancer Resource, we're all volunteers. We're a 501c3. We're a nonprofit, and so
Which
people
means
who pay
the money that you get provides services. Is really
right, exactly. Like the American Cancer Society giving us a grant. We put in for a couple more grants, but Atherton supporting us, the Padula Foundation, who gave us the original large grant to get this launched. I mean, I can't thank them enough, and we just put it straight into services.
Well, and you've been able to attract good people to put their time and energies up.
Yeah, our board members are fabulous. We have Jennifer Gerard from Swinnerton, who's in construction. They have a huge construction company, and she is busy there, but still takes time to help us. We have Marceo Simpson, who is the project director and manager for the Ridge. Used to be Lona Ridge, now it's the Ridge. And Mars is an amazing woman. She's been with us from the get-go. We have Mary Dungans. I can't say enough about. She's the chairman or the president of the Pink Paddlers. And so I'm a pink paddler. So we support each other. But Mary's on our board, and she has just been magnificent. We have Sherry Halstead, who runs 7 other businesses, but still finds the time to do our finance. 7 other businesses. No kidding. She's a dynamo. And then Carol Langer. So we just have a really strong, incredible board.
And you found these people through other people, or that's quite a team.
It is a team. It is a real team.
So
we're blessed.
Mouth, each one passing to each other?
Yeah. People who want to share their gifts and their talents, we welcome them.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that. I know that these things that you have coming up are important events. I just thought that it was important for our public to hear and see, if you're lucky enough to watch on TV, that Maui is deep in care, that there are people here who care, and that if we can all, what do they say, what is a net? We all hold hands together. If we don't hold hands, we have nothing. But if we hold hands, we have a really strong net to catch the water, which we're hoping to catch. Mm-hmm. To be able to solve problems takes a level of cooperation that, when I hear this, what I said earlier about we have comparable care here because of people that work together that have talents like yourself and others. So if you have challenges with cancer or know someone that does, or you're curious, it sounds like...
Or even caregivers. So, for instance, one of our last retreats, not the Hui that we just had, but the one in October at St. Anthony's, was all about caregiving.
Oh.
All right, because all of us are caregivers. What made me think about that was your metaphor about the net. And so we are the net. We are the strands of the net. We do weave together. We do bind together, and that is our strength. And so in caregiving, that can just be exhausting. And we have to help people find balance for themselves, balance for the job that they're doing, and helping to care for someone else. And same with the person who has the illness. And we prefer to look at cancer as an illness because you can get rid of your illness, okay?
Sure.
But, it's something that people will always be affected by. It can be in control. You can have cure, but sometimes people don't. So some people have to live with their illness, and we teach them how to live with their illness and be the fullest person they can be. And that's what Maui Cancer Resources, that's another thing that Maui Cancer Resources does.
Well, I think that's just terrific. I can always fill up time with words, but when I like to slow down a little bit, because just the word cancer, meaning it's something that's grown in a different way for whatever reason. And you could be emotional, or it could be stress or trauma. but there's something physical, could be something.
Well, it's also genetic. It has a genetic component to it. A lot of times, the beauty of what's happening now in cancer research and cancer treatment is the discovery of genetics and genomics. So we can actually look at the genetics or genomics of the tumor, and now we can take treatment and direct it. Also, too, if cancer runs in families, we can look at the genetics in that, right?
For
and
prevention
so
by different foods and chemicals?
Exactly. You can have preventative, we all should have preventative strategies, because the environmental stressors and toxins that we're exposed to, if you look at the Lahaina situation, if you look at 911, there was a 16% increase in cancer 5 years after for those on ground zero. Now, having said that, let's prevent it. Okay, let's maximize an anti-inflammatory diet. What does that mean? Come talk to me. I'll be happy to tell you, because this is what my husband and I do. I mean, we're very conscious about this, so that
you met my partner.
Yes.
That's the reason I'm 104. You would never know it. But, no, but it's true. That's really important. Then,
right?
Continue.
Yeah. So,
James Hutchins.
Whoops.
Calling me.
So, at any rate, what I want to do is to really help the community get some preventative strategies going, and that is part of Maui Cancer Resources, are those preventative strategies. We know that there are certain things that actually prevent inflammation, which drives the genetic predisposition or the development of cancer.
I'm not worried about this. Those predispositions, the fact that when you know someone has it historically in their genetics, right, in their family, you can do something about it through diet. Right. Do you also use chemicals sometimes? Or?
Well, I don't know that chemicals
is the right word.
Yeah. So
different foods have different
food,
things.
Like Dr. Weil used to say, your food is your pharmacy. Now, having said that, heck no, you're going to, if you need medication, you take medication, right?
Well, I'm
integrated medicine.
If you look at your gene pool and your
right.
mother, your grandmother, your sister, your brother all had cancer.
Right. So reducing stress and getting rid of your fear-based thinking is number one, along with proper treatment of the body, exercise, movement. Even just if you move, you dance, you go swim, you paddle, you whatever, get moving, because that actually reduces risk by 30% or more.
Wow.
It's powerful. It's powerful. And obviously good sleep, because if you don't get into a deep sleep, your body doesn't have the chance to rejuvenate, and you stay stressed. So we teach people how to get into deeper sleep. So those are some of the main caveats in lifestyle medicine. Most people don't need don't need vitamins and supplements if they have a really good balanced diet. So it's actually in the medical literature that supplements in general are not helpful unless you have a deficiency. But how do people know they have a deficiency, right? So I would just say another smart thing to do is when you go visit your doctor is get your vitamin D levels checked. And you may laugh and think, we're in Maui, get out. But answer is, where are you most of the time? Indoors, no sun. That's how vitamin D is converted in the skin, okay? It's by sunlight. And so vitamin D is not just for your bones. It's actually a pro-hormone that works with your immune system as well as reducing depression. It's fascinating.
Well, I've been blessed to be with my partner who you met, Ariel, for 30 years. What a blessing. And so I've been eating well and using the things that we're talking about, anti-inflammatory diet, and keep learning and keep growing. The power of what we put in to create all kinds of stuff. like you talk about, things that are precursors, things that when you eat them, they create an environment in your body to solve a lot of these problems. There's so much that we can learn.
And you're exactly right. So I've got to make a pitch for fiber here. Because fiber, we eat so much processed foods, we don't have a lot of the fruits and vegetables. You should be eating 1 cup of fruit and at least 1 to 2 cups of vegetables a day. Having said that, why? Because not only, you can't just get it in a powder, a nutritional powder. It's the different compounds that are tied to the fiber and in the fruit and vegetables that actually the body can utilize in multiple different ways. And so it's really important to eat fresh, whole food as much as possible. And you'll feel the difference in your body when you do that. But fiber is critical. Fiber actually feeds the little bacteria in your gut, which are sort of the gatekeepers for inflammation in your body, if I had to put it in general terms. But
I am, as I'm listening, you could listen like I could listen to our doctor here for a while, but we only have a minute left, and I want to make sure that we recap. Dr. Bridget Bongaard, you've been a great guest. I hope you'll come join us again. And also, if you have others you think might be important and valuable to be here on the air, please bring them forward. All these shows, you can listen to them again and share them, MauiNeutralZone.com. You'll see them all listed there. Doctor, thank you for coming and sharing your valuable time and information. Everyone that's watching can see MauiCancerResources.org and the phone number. And anything that you need, you can always contact us. It's really been a pleasure. I really don't know how to put it into words. Thank you
so much. And I look forward to doing another show with you and also having the community involved to create this Maui Nui Cancer Hui and contribute what they can contribute and pay it forward for health and wellness.
Well, we all want to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year because this place is closed the next 2 shows of ours. Christmas and New Year's, which is a blessing, hopefully, for everyone. God bless you. We'll see you in 2024. Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.